Yo, what's up, guys and gals? All right, so I'm opening up the fitness stream now, and here I am in the garage, the Bonafide or the goddamn gym. Really, just had a snack, nothing crazy. Had some salmon, some sweet potatoes, some green beans. I am going to post hello, peeps in the actual chat with an exclamation mark. Okay, so aim this to be a pretty quick show, 30 minutes or so. And man, I love it when someone comes in and just hits the like button like right out of the gates. That's amazing. So that is kind of the rule. If you see someone not hitting the like button, you have to put it in the chat. Notify me if you see a bunch of people in the chat and we don't have as many likes. Then I need to know that. So y'all have to watch out for me. Come into a Bonafide Hustler chat with some Q&A. Got to hit the like button, right? And you got to say hello in the chat. It's a very welcoming place. We're talking a little bit about fitness today, nothing crazy, but kind of break it down to you at whatever speed that you guys want to get it broken down. You want to go high level, we can go high level. You want to go medium grade, we can go medium grade. Good to see people coming in here. Done, been, like the flipping team. See, these are my friends right here. Barb McIntyre, hit it right off the back. That's right. I love it. Cheers from Houston, Barter Mania. So it's good to see everyone coming in here. And it's nice to see people in the chat. Got 7 people. Wow, we got more people hitting the like button, and I love that. Because what it's going to do is it's going to bring more people from YouTube in here. We can get some more dynamic questions going on. And this morning I worked out on a new cycle. I know when I say that, people are going to say like, "Oh my God, did he just say cycle? Like, are you on steroids?" No, I'm not on steroids. I'm all natural. I am 45 years old. Good shape, and I feel good. I feel like there's a little bit of a smoothing filter going on with YouTube. I mean, my skin is pretty good. I mean, let's see if we can get up there. Skin quality is pretty good. Nothing super crazy. You can see one of my mountain biking scars right here. But it looks like a smooth. I think there's a filter of some sort going on. I'm not this pretty in real life. Well, maybe not. I don't know. But let's get. We got some people giving the hand signal. So, hello to everyone. That's what I'm putting in the chat, so you know that I'm in here. The Red J Way says definitely don't look 45. Yeah. So this is one of the things that I'm very, very, very proud of. Is the fact that I've picked a lot of, I guess, right decisions right over the years. I've done all the stuff that most people have done. I've just gravitated more towards the right things earlier in life, I guess. I've done I write about it in the new guide, but I've had my fair experiences of nightlife craziness. I live in Austin, so everyone knows that it's a pretty big nightlife scene here. But I've got away from that as quickly as possible. I do think that there's a lot of things out there. I'll tell you some of the things that I think of getting people's ways really quickly when you're dealing with fitness. So that's like a perfect segue into something else. But when you're dealing with fitness, a lot of people are very good at getting in their own way, right? When I deal with clients or I deal with people, and I usually deal with lifestyle clients. I don't actually take on people for, I like physical transformations. Don't get me wrong. I enjoy them. But the physical transformation a lot of times is much faster when there's a mental transformation as well. Okay. So when you have a mental shift, you can almost get any kind of shift that you want. You maybe want a financial shift, you want a physical shift. But once you get the mental shift, it really means that you've honed in on certain beliefs and you're executing on said beliefs. So now we're going to get down to the actual point of that. And that is people are very good, right? Almost every single person that I've dealt with, people are very good with knowing the right things to do, but they get in their own ways, right? They get in their own ways and the key about fitness and getting a good physique or feeling great about yourself is you have to implement a lot of right decisions like out of the gates religiously. You just got to keep pounding on those things, right? Not becoming addicted to it by any means, but just executing on those things. Because whether you like to admit it or not, but when you get your best physical fitness condition or your best mental condition, it's going to be a result of like a lot of ongoing things, right? And when you get there, I always try to get people. One of the things I like to say to my clients is like, let me get you there. Okay. Let's get you there first. And then you can do whatever you want with that. Like after that, when we don't work together or whatever, do whatever you want with the knowledge that I gave you. You want to undo all your physical fitness gains, cool. You want to undo all your mental fitness gains, cool. But let me get you there first. You're going to see how many, you're going to see, I wouldn't say how complex it is to get there, but you're going to see all the things that are involved, the puzzle pieces to get there. And then I challenge anybody that does it correctly in a sustainable fashion to undo it. It's actually very difficult to do once you've done it correctly and you see, the physical transformation. And a lot of times people around you will see it too. Your friends are going to comment about it. And it's really hard to undo that if you do it correctly. And so when I work with people, we take a big ass inventory of like how they spend their time, what are they eating, what kind of workouts they're on, or lack thereof. We look at a lot of things, and we reverse engine. We go, okay, so these are the things that you're graced with, and here are some of the new things we have to populate in there. So how are we going to get this executed on a week by week basis? And for some people, it's a day by day basis too. Some people get in their way day by day, hour by hour, and so we work on those kind of things. But at the end of the day, I think everybody deserves to feel the best that they can feel. I think it's something that is definitely earned, right? You have to work for it. And there's no greater thing. I think when we think about the word rich, rich to me is being in great physical fitness condition, strong, mobile, pain free, mental clarity good, acuity good. And you can do well in social situations. You're a very pro-social person and easy to make friends. I think that's rich. Okay. Now, if you get rich, financially rich out of all that, that's great. But true rich to me is all the other stuff first, right? And I think we live in a kind of world where people think I won't be anything. I won't be taken seriously. My traumas won't go away till I have these financial things done first or something like that. So, or they'll just make their life so complicated with debt or obligations that that's the only thing they can focus on. Right. So, anyway, hello to everybody. It's good to see people here. It's really weird. Like this just chat will go from like 2 people to 6 people to 10 people, then to 6. It's so weird. So if you're watching this right now and you have a physical fitness question, perhaps about losing weight or building muscle or best exercises for this or that, or like how would you handle this situation? This is what I'm going through. I want you to put that in the feed right now. I really do. Put it in the feed and let's get it out here in the open. First of all, nobody knows people's monikers. Some people do know. But it's okay to be open and honest about things. That's how you really get somewhere is you work with somebody or you are in a good, safe kind of space where you can talk about things, right? A lot of us, when we deal with physical fitness, it's just something that our friends don't care about, family members don't care about, family around you doesn't care about. And here you are trying to do some right decisions. And it's really tough to implement that when everyone around you just seems to be doing the wrong decisions. So the easiest thing to do in that scenario is just do wrong decisions, right? Play the game and be like, all right, very uncomfortable to be the person kind of walking away from the circle and being like, look at me, I'm working out, that's kind of difficult. But at the same time, it's very brave. And the people that do that correctly oftentimes need check-in groups, they need icons, they need, coaches. That way you can get strong enough and be like, all right, I'm leaving the group for a little bit and I'm going to act based on faith. I'm going to do something that's good for myself, and I'm going to lean on this group or this person or something, this trainer, and I'm going to do it. A very brave thing to do. So I applaud people that are out here and looking at fitness as a forefront kind of thing. And I would just love to merge my following. I do have a fitness channel, don't get me wrong, but that stuff is very mid and high level stuff, and I'll be opening up lives over there. I think with my reselling community, it's a little better to start more beginner and bird's eye and be like, all right, like here's really the reality of what's going on. I talk about it in the new guide. The new guide's pretty big actually. You'll check it out, but it's about losing weight. It's about lifestyle, like really revamp. So if you're into that kind of stuff, this thing should drop tomorrow. Go check it out. Now, if you're sitting here and you're watching me and you're going like, oh my God, all he does is like launching guides and it's so annoying, that's fine, right? At the end of the day, I'm gonna be really honest with people here on the feed. At the end of the day, I like to work with people and I like to be around people that want to be the best, right? They want to be the best versions of themselves, right? So people that are automatically like super skeptical or they're like, that's not going to work, or like, I didn't come here to tune into this. That's fine. But at the end of the day, I have a great gift, right? 45 years old and great shape. I have a gift of social media following, right? I have a gift of being a creator. And I have the gift of imagination, like how to bring this into the forefront without being A, pushy, B, um, complete nut job, doing all this fake stuff behind the scenes and then showing you like, oh, it's totally like reasonable. That's not who I am, right? If you anybody that sees me behind the scenes go like that dude puts in a lot of work. Like he puts in a ton of work and he does it day in and day out. And he's probably better than most people when it comes to discipline. He's just understood the game of what it is. And all I aim to do this year and all I've aimed to ever do was just help people out that want to be on that path, right? So we go back to my original point, and that is if you're super skeptical and that's fine, like be skeptical, but that stuff is like a boat anchor in your life. I promise you, if you're skeptical, if you're like, oh, this is too good to be true and like I can't trust anybody and like all this, um that's going to be a boat anchor in your life 100%, right? You got to be open, you got to be trustworthy, you got to put yourself out there, you have to believe in others, and you have to believe that there's good out there. Because if you don't believe in that kind of stuff, it's very easy to get complacent and go, well, there's no hope for me. Every time I go on a diet, it never works. Every time I go to the gym, I don't know what the hell I'm doing. Every time I get around fitness people, I feel uncomfortable. That's all on you. At the end of the day, it's all on you. And when you decide to come out of a funk or you decide to like change it all, there's an entire world on the other side that's like they're operating and ready and willing to take you in, right? And I'm not just talking about myself, I'm talking about other people, right? So you got to be brave and you got to be willing to like leave some of the things that you're very used to, including family members and whatever. You just got to leave it behind, be like, all right, I'm working on myself and like I'll check back in with y'all later, But usually when you do that, okay, usually when you do that, and you do it correctly and you do it with dignity, you do it with honor, you do it with good morals, the people are going to see it and they're going to go like, wow, teach me what you know. Who are you working with? This is how I get referrals all the time. And I have to turn away business a bunch because I don't want to be working with one-on-ones all the time. But this is what ends up happening is with the people I work with, they always say like, my friends see it, like everyone sees it. It's incredible. Like I feel great. And that's one of the greatest gifts I can ever give somebody is the power of choice, like the power of just knowing that A, life is short, and B, you can really live vibrantly through this thing called life if you so choose to, and if you so believe in it. So Barter Mania says, how many cheat meals per week? Forget soda and drink at least a gallon of water each day. Yeah. So forget soda and drink, forget soda. I mean, anything with added sugars, you want to be putting somewhere between at most 10 to 20 grams of sugar in your body a day. If that's added, like that would be your max limit. But even then, that's like too much. So if you're thinking like, well, what is an added sugar? I mean, here's a perfect example of it. Okay. Like the average ketchup it will have 4 to 6 grams of added sugar per serving. And we all know when we squirt ketchup on something, we're not just squirting in 2 tablespoons, which is the serving itself, but we're squirting a little bit more than that. It tastes great. But sugar, okay, is just a highly addictive substance in the first place. It doesn't belong in most foods. It's there to create addiction. It's there for the company for you to buy the same thing again, right? It's there for repeat business and it's nothing else. Outside of that, it destroys your gut. It's terrible for everything, right? Your glucose, insulin levels is just crazy for all that. So we want to get away from added sugars. So people might ask me, how do you get away from added sugars? Well, you just pay attention to your labels. And second of all, just start eating fruit, like, naturally occurring sugars, and chew your fruit too. I do make smoothies here and there, but even blending good organic fruit, for example, and not masticating it properly, it doesn't get the same benefit when you puree it in a blender and drink it down as opposed to you just eating, right? The actual fruit. Case in point, an apple. If you blend 5 apples, you can drink that in 2 seconds. If I ask you to eat 5 apples, you're going to be like, that's really hard to do because by the time you've gotten to the second apple, you're like, I'm full, you know? But if you blend up 5 apples, you can drink that in 2 seconds. And so the time release of glucose on those apples, for example, is so sudden when you blend it up, but it goes perfectly when you masticate it, right? It's perfectly engineered by Mother Nature when you masticate it to actually power you for X amount of duration. But if you drink it, you can drink 10 apples if you really wanted to. To answer this question, how many cheat meals per week? If we're looking at an average of 3 meals a day, then I say 5 to 10 cheat meals a week. So my answer is usually 2 to 3. So pick them carefully. The next question of that, I talk about it in the guide, is what is a cheat meal? And a cheat meal to me is a normal meal's calories with 50% added. So if your normal meal's calories is 500, then a cheat meal would be 750. All right. So that's kind of a good roundabout thing. If you have normal meals that are 1,000 calories, which I tend to have many meals that are 1,000 calories, I do what's called two and a halves, two really big meals in a day. When I get in my leanest, most amazing state, which I'll be starting in about a month, but I'll get into what's called two and a halves. It's two really monstrously big meals and then one snack in the middle. So I'll do two and a halves. When we run the numbers on a two and a half, we're running, there's like, I don't know, 15 and a half. So like a two and a half would run seven. Okay. So it's about 20, sometimes like 20 meals in a week, maybe something like that. So I'm running by my metrics of a 90% rule, 10% cheat meals. We're looking at 2 to 3, even in that equation right alone. So, um, do we do a gallon of water a day? So the equation of that is if you're a 200-pound individual, like just multiply your body weight times 0.75. That's the amount of ounces per water you should be drinking in a day. And if you are a super active individual like myself, I'm at 210 pounds right now, so I want to get to 100, 150 ounces of water in a day, which is easily over a gallon. But I'm a super active individual, probably crush maybe even to 170 ounces or something like that. Hopefully that answers your question. Let's get some more questions in here. And I see 11 people tuning in. So do me a favor, all 11 people, move that kind of like, you're watching it right now, move that to the like button and hit the like button, really important, and put a fitness question that you're interested about in the chat, right? It's okay. We'll see you pop up. It's okay if you're asking what might be a dumb question. There's no dumb questions. This is a pretty safe space right here. And that's another thing that's interesting. I think I want to get these live shows to 100 people, 200 people. We'll be doing them on the Bod Damn channel. We'll be doing them here. That's obvious. But there's going to be, my goal is to get, 50% interested in what I'm talking about, and then throw them down the chute of like, obviously the people at the very end are going to be the people that are most interested in really changing their lives. But you got to start like this big thing, this big representative part of the population. By the time you get to the people that are like high executing people that really want it really bad enough, and the people that want to change and they want to just experience all the stuff that I talk about, you're dealing with small part, and that's okay. Wow, 210. How tall are you? I am 6 foot tall at 210 pounds. I'll step back a little bit and kind of see what I look like. Not too bad. I'm cruising it at about 16% body fat right now. I did go in the gym last week at 6 in the morning, and all I had was a couple sips of coffee. And then I got on the InBody machine, which is a machine that throws electricity through your body, and it gives a pretty decent representation of what your body fat will be. So I was scoring 15.7 on that day. So it's 16% body fat, which is pretty good. But in the summertime, I usually get into like the 12s and maybe even the 10s or something like that. It all depends. Sometimes if I want to run a really lean operation, maybe there's a photo shoot coming up, or there's just something coming up where got to look as good as I can. Then I'll get down to like 10% or something. And it's really impressive for film and print and media and ads. It's great. But I find that I probably operate best at like 12% body fat. And it's just more, it's not that it's more sustainable. It's just more, I don't know, just more livable every day kind of thing. So yeah, this is what it is right here. I got a cutoff shirt. This shirt is an extra large. It's cut here because I like wind. I like wind passing through me, I like the air passing through, but still pretty big dude, nothing crazy. 45 years old. And, I like it. I do think, like I said earlier in the broadcast, I think there is a smoothing filter that's like automatic on this broadcast. But I do drink a lot of water, so my skin would be pretty good just out of that. So that's another thing. If you want to get good, healthy looking skin, and you want your face to look rejuvenated, and you want to start like all these little imperfections, you want to maybe combat that and give it your best shot without buying all these moisturizers and all that kind of stuff. First of all, just spend 30 days at like a gallon or more of water a day. Just do it. I can show you pictures on my phone where I was like really on my stuff, like early in maybe my mid 30s or something, where I was doing it like religiously and taking pictures. And you could just tell I just look younger, I look more vibrant, younger, happier. So water is the essence of life. And while we're on that subject, make sure that you're either drinking spring water, or I think there's a thing called like Save My Spring, not Save My Spring, but there is an actual website where you can find where the springs are around you, and you can buy water from the spring. So that's pretty good. It's much more higher, and it's much higher in minerals and things like that, sediment, really good things for your body. Um, but yeah, going into water, I do take refrigerator water sometimes with a filter. Obviously, there's a charcoal filter and everything like that, but all that stuff's encased in plastic. And if you really want to do it right, what I do is I have a Berkey system. You can get on Amazon, look at the Berkey filter. I'm not affiliated with Berkey, but it's what most people would do if you want to get super high quality water without doing a reverse osmosis system in your house. You just get a Berkey filter and get the 2 gallon one too. There's a 2.5 gallon one. You fill the top compartments of gravity filters, so the water will gravity feed down 2 charcoal filters and sometimes 2 fluoride filters to get to the bottom where you have a spout, and you can just do it from there. Another way that I like to make sure that my water is super good, and this has happened as of recently, but I will put some of that water in a copper vessel. And that copper vessel, that water is so good, but I let it sit for a day. Copper is known to be a very antibacterial type of thing. So putting it in the copper vessel, just copper water just tastes, oh man, it just tastes so clean and crisp. I don't know how else to explain it, but check it out. Copper vessels are between like 30 and $50 on Amazon, and they're usually it's usually about 30 to maybe 40 ounces at a time. So, look into it. But get the Berkey filter first. You can scout Facebook Marketplace for Berkey filters, is how I got mine. I got mine for like $120, I think. And each filter is responsible. Each black charcoal filter is responsible for 3,000 gallons on a Berkey filter. So if you have two of them, you can get 6,000 gallons out of that, which is a lot of gallons if you think about it. So anyway, what do we got here? Our time is out. I'm 5'7", went back to the gym November 15th. Hey, congratulations. That's amazing. Already lost 12 to 14 pounds. I was 201. Amazing. Yeah. So your vibrancy in life is going to be positively correlated to your muscle quality. This is just proven by science or muscle centric medicine, however you want to look at it. But yeah, the quality of your muscle, okay, and how much stressors you put onto your muscle, the quality of your muscle is going to dictate the quality of your life. This is hands down, like proven by fact. If you have a good amount of muscle, not amount of muscle, but if you have good muscle and you're stressing it out properly, you will live a much more vibrant life, right? That is just known. Um, yeah, Bartermania says fridge filter. The water travels from the filter to the spout via hose that is never cleaned. Food for thought. Yeah, absolutely. So not my number one pick. I have it in a pinch. I'll mess with it, but oftentimes I fill my Berkey almost every single day, and I will pull all the water I need in the day from the Berkey. Our time is out says a heart rate dropped 10 points as well. That's really good. I am really proud of you. Our time is out. That's really cool. More questions. Let's take a look here. Our time is out says I prefer Mike Menser's HIIT training. Yeah. So Mike Menser's known for a lot of how do I say it? Smaller block form training, super high intense, kind of go till failure, get stronger every single workout kind of mentality. And I like that. I do. I have some friends that do it. Um, but I think with that, we have to also be understanding of the fact that Mike Menser was an ex-pro bodybuilder, probably had things that helped his regen considerably. When I go to the limit on workouts that are heavy based like that, and you go into the limit a bunch, you really have to take off every 6 weeks. You have to take a week down because the normal person that doesn't have access, it's not that we don't have access to steroids or anything like that. I don't preach that. I don't do it, but you have to understand that training methods are way greater if you're taking things that really regen your muscles on a rapid rate. You're like an X-Men when you take steroids. But you're how do I say it? There's a trade that it's often said like you're trading uh today's feelings for tomorrow's like something. Anyway, something like that. But basically what it is that when you're dealing with steroids, you're getting accelerated gains now, but there's a price to pay later. There almost always is. And usually that price is going to be hormone imbalance or just your body shutting down completely. So you have to be on HRT or TRT later. And this is just a really expensive mess that you don't want to find yourself into. Now, if you're on it now and you're tuning in and you're a male, then I guess that is what it is. I've had people that have gone on it and they're just like, this is not worth it. Like, I'm going to get off, ends up being like a $3,000 or $5,000 decision a year to do TRT, HRT. But there are plenty of natural means that you can do to boost your testosterone high with actual organic means and roots and things like that. So, um, and your bones deteriorate with roids. Yeah, there's a lot of weird things that happens with roids. First of all, there's a bunch of acne that can happen on your face, your back. There's increase of hair loss. Your teeth can start separating in the front. Mood swings, obviously, roid rage, whatever. Now, the trade-off is you get this massive amount of regen. That's the reason why bodybuilders can train 4 to 6 hours a day and just keep coming back and back. Most people can't do that. I could never do that. My workouts are 4 times a week, an hour and a half each time, and that's it. And I think at 45 years old, I think I made the right choice, right? If we take a look at, everything here, I'll back up the camera. I just had like a pretty decent sized meal. It wasn't really a snack, but let's see, that's not bad. This is not bad at all at 45 years old. So I think there's a power to doing it right and a power to do it, with good sleep. And yeah, I just think that there is. And I'm pretty strong for my age too. I mean, there's no doubt about it. But I know Mike Mentzer's methods and I implement them every now and then, but I have realized that chasing more of that, which gets glorified in bodybuilding culture, which is like less is more. Um, you have to understand bodybuilding culture. The second you say bodybuilding culture, there's almost a weird implied thing that there's steroids involved, more than likely. So our time is out. I never went hard on the roids. Was too scared. Been 30 years since I used them. Well, good, because now you've probably rebounded just fine, and I bet your body's acting okay. I'll give you a little bit of heads up on some things to look for that are very good for your testosterone. First of all, sunlight. Adequate sunlight in a week is really good. Obviously, very good sleep. I mean, if you want the effects, well, I wouldn't say the effects of steroids, but if you want the nature's roids, just sleep really well. Train hard enough, and then get really good sleep. An incredible diet, obviously, an incredible diet full of. And I preach omnivorous diet. I've done the vegan thing. I've done the vegetarian thing. I've done the paleo thing. I've done the keto thing. And quite honestly, for me, in my energy expenditure, I think an omnivore diet is way better. And so, really high grade pasture raised eggs, wild caught meats. You're going to want to deal with 3 to 5 ingredient breads, organic beans. Even after that, you want to wash most of these things. Lots of fruits. If you look at my diet, there's probably 20 ingredients at best. It's just a bunch of repeat of those 20 ingredients. Obviously, I put some different sauces here and there, but even those sauces are pretty clean. I pay attention to the stupid oils that are in most foods. I try not to have foods with a lot of oils in them that are prepared or anything like that. That brings me to my next point, which is like create your own meals. Like just get used to doing it. You want a really good physique and you want a great mind state. Start making your own meals. I mean, just yeah. Bobby the buyer, what's your take on fasting? I love all these questions coming in, by the way. Okay, so I want to get more in here. So if you're watching this right now, and you're like, I got a question. Go ahead and put it in. I'm gonna see it. What's your take on fasting, Bobby the buyer? I love this question. Currently, right now, well, I say today. Today I fasted. Actually, I didn't. I did my workout this morning. My numbers weren't like glorious by any means. I was doing a back and I was doing a chest day. My reverse row was 175. I did some pretty slow pull-ups with grips, though. I mean, with wraps. What else did I do? I did some upright rows, some momentum upright rows at 95 pounds. My bench today for 3 reps, probably had way more in me, but I did 275. And then for my reps with negatives involved, with just really 5-second negatives, I was doing 225. So for 45 years old, I mean, those are pretty big numbers, to be honest. My take on fasting is that it's very, very powerful. That was one of the pieces of the guide I was revamping yesterday. This guide should come out tomorrow, by the way. But I talk about fasting in this weight loss guide because it's heavily, heavily amazing for fasting and getting lean. Is to do intermittent fasting. So I've been doing intermittent fasting for the past 7 years, with the exception of the past 6 weeks. In the past 6 weeks, I've told myself, like, it's been a moment since I've been on a proper bulk, and so I'm bulking right now, which means I'm purposely putting on weight, which for most people, that the whole concept of doing that is kind of, they might be like, that's dumb. Like that's literally what I don't want, but when you get into, when you've lived your life in a fitness sense, I know it's going to come off, but I'm trying to build nice amounts of muscle at the end of the day. And so to do that, I have to overshoot. So, right now, I usually at this time of the year, I'm usually like 200, 202 pounds, but right now I'm about 210 to maybe 212. And my goal in the summertime is to be 202 at 10% body fat, whereas last year I was at 12%, maybe 202 at 10%, maybe 204 at like 12%, something like that. A little bit more muscle in the right places, be that much more impressive for A, the company I work for, just B, the fitness business that I aim to really want to run later. So it's just more of like a walking resume. Um, so what else we got here? So my take on fasting is very, very good. Usually when I do a fast, it's a 16-8, meaning I eat for 8 hours and I will fast for 16 hours. And in those 16 hours, the only thing I can have is water, tea, or coffee. Okay. There is one thing that probably sets me out of the fast a little bit, but it is the pre-workout that I take. It's by Organic Muscles, the company I work for. But that one doesn't seem to really like I don't know. Last summer, just got a lot of people out and about through town are always like, man, like you're such good shape. Like, duh, 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 like, what's your workout routine? This is like every single day. This happens, right? Especially when I go to Barton Springs and people are always like, man, you're in like the most incredible shape ever. When I say I'm 45 years old, people they like flip their anyway, they lose their minds. They're like, how it doesn't even seem possible. And when you don't know all the things going on behind the scenes, it can seem impossible because life isn't supposed to be that way. Life is supposed to be this like, I'm getting older, like, and oh, this hurts, that hurts, and I'm going to stop. My lower back hurts, so I don't want to do this and do that. When I get around people like that, I'm like, it's almost always the shoulder hurts, the knee hurts, the lower back hurts, and then we undo all that. We work on it. We go, okay, tell me the problem. Let's work on this, and we work through it. So right now, I'm dealing with some clients that one of my clients this morning, she got trampled by a horse, right, on her calf muscle. And so she got trampled by a horse, so she can't execute the 4 workouts, or she can execute maybe 3 of the 4 workouts. We're checking in to make sure she's in high spirits and make sure she's good. Person I'm seeing tomorrow at probably noon, that person was playing basketball and I think has a grade 2 tear in his knee, right? And so we have to modify the workouts a little bit for that. And the question was, how much should I do? Like, should I listen to the doctor or should I start doing rehab and everything like that? And you talk to me and I look at the situation and I go, what's your ROM? What's your mobility? Can you stand up? Can you walk around? Are you hobbling around? And if every day is getting better by a little bit, that's a good sign that it's probably nothing super critical. But we do a lot of rehab. I do a lot of rehab to this day. Today, when I was walking my dog, as an example, because not that I have chronic knee issues or anything like that, it's just that I have some, but they're not really there if I do the rehab. So one of the things I did today when I was walking my dog is 70% of that walk I did backwards, right? Super good for the knees, super good for the knees to walk backwards. But that's one of the things I did. And do you think I cared about all the cars that passed me on the road when I was walking backwards with my dog? Not a bit. Don't care. I don't care how I look. I don't care if it looks stupid. It's proven that your knees, in order for optimal knee health, you have to be able to go into hyperextensions, hyperflexions, backwards walking, lateral shifts, all kinds of stuff, right? That's how you build good, strong ankles and knees. So that's one of the things that I've just been working on right now. But going back to the fasting thing is very good. And fasting is very important for not only your mental clarity, it's very convenient if you're an entrepreneur like myself or a content creator. I don't have to make breakfasts. And then good for HGH, good for optimal hormone levels, really good for cell repair. So your cells are known to like rid themselves of a little bit more waste material when you're fasting. So that's nice. Will I ever go on a 48-hour juice fast or water fast? I don't know. My lifestyle is way too dynamic to probably think about that, but I might. But yeah, I believe in fasting 100%. So when I want to get back in my leanest state, I'm going to implement intermittent fasting right back again. Kind of like what I did today. My first meal today technically was 1 o'clock after I was thrifting a little bit. So my last meal will probably be around 8 or 9. So technically I intermittent fasted today. Tomorrow, I don't know. I'm still on the bulk and everything like that. I think I want to get to 215 pounds, possibly 220. But life vibrancy dictates all that. The second I feel like my life vibrancy is going like this bulk is going to be over. But I just want it's just food for thought, right? At this point. So Bobby the Buyer, I'm doing a weight loss journey, already down 100 pounds from 420. My God, congratulations, Bobby. Holy moly. I'm now 320 pounds and starting to work on fasting, just eating cheat days, and it shouldn't be so hard to do. Yeah, intermittent fasting is great, but the thing is, you have to understand that your window is much tighter. So you have to treat that window with a lot of purpose. See, a lot of people, when they intermittent fast, they'll have the same kind of meals as they would on an everyday. And that's the problem with the intermittent fasting is you want to take the average amount of calories that you're taking in a day and you want to just squish it a little bit, which sometimes means that you're going to take in a little bit less, but you want to eat with purpose when your window opens up. So when I do a 2.5 on an 8-hour fast, right? I'm going to try to get these terms right for you so you understand conceptually what's going on. But if I open up my fast on 12 o'clock and I close it at 8, that's my fasting window. Oh, that's my eating window. Then at 12 o'clock, I'm eating a monster meal, like a monster meal. So monster today that I had to take a little bit of coffee afterwards because I'm like, this is going to definitely, make my work production do this for a little bit. So take a little bit of coffee, nothing crazy, like 3 or 4 ounces, and then crush whatever I need to crush. And then I had a snack. My snack today was kind of bigger than most snacks. Like usually I'll just have a sandwich. But a snack today was pretty big fillet of wild salmon, so a cup of sweet potatoes, and a cup of green beans. The salmon had some grass-fed butter on it. It had some lemon on it, and I put a tad of ketchup on there. I know it's kind of weird, but I like it. And then my last meal today will be grass-fed sirloin with broccoli on rice. It's a Kevin's meal from Costco. So that's another good brand that you should look out for because oftentimes Kevin's, it comes in a white kind of container. You see it at Costco all the time. Kevin's usually uses pretty good stuff for their meals. You flip their labels over, and even though this is an actual processed meal that's sitting in some plastic stuff, not the greatest thing, but in a pinch, because I'm trying to do these live shows, I'm trying to make sure that the guide comes out correctly. I'm in an odd kind of week or weeks where things are kind of pinched. And when things are pinched, then I don't really worry too much about like, let me meal prep tonight, make it perfect and all that. And I'm on a bulk. So if that makes sense. Congratulations to Bobby for that weight loss. That is so good. But it's probably hard for you to do the fasting window because maybe you're eating the same kind of caliber meals that you would if you didn't have the window. So eat with purpose on your window, and that should help. Barter Mania, avocado or olive oil? I'm using my Blackstone more this year to lose 20 pounds, eat healthier. So when we're dealing with oils, and if you're dealing with avocado or olive oil, I mean, olive oil, even when heated to certain temps, can be kind of bad for you. And obviously, when we talk about avocado or olive oil or coconut oil, for example, you want to source the best, highest grade oils you can get, especially to cook with. So, with olive oil or avocado, look, just I would say right now, it's easier to get a higher grade avocado than it is to get a higher grade olive oil. So you want to source the most purest olive oil you can get, and make sure it's kind of like a single origin and it's not a blend of other things. Sometimes they'll blend olive oil with other weird oils. So you want to look for that. Flip the label around and buy organic, of course. Ryan Rage, do you did you release the fitness guide? I know. Everyone's calling me out on this thing, so it should come out tomorrow. I made it. I have one last section to update in this guide tonight. This is a section on sun capture. It's really important. Sunlight is a huge, huge piece of like blood purification, mood boosting, gives you a nice tan. It's great. It gets a bad rap, kind of like cigarettes do, because people are like, well, you're gonna, it's bad for you and it's cancer and it's this. It's extremely cancerous when you put yourself in sunny situations when you have a lot of bad oils in your system too. That's just known. So if you control your oil intake, not saying that you should have less oil, I'm saying controlling the actual oils that you take in, then, I don't ever put on sunscreen. When I put on sunscreen, I only put it on if I go surfing in California for extended periods of time. When I have a 2 to 4 hour surfing session ahead of me, I might put some stuff on. But usually I don't. Like all last year when I was at Barton Springs and all this stuff, it's a sunny place in Austin, Texas with spring water. I don't put sunscreen on. And I control my diet. I don't burn. I don't flake. Nothing happens, I feel good. So Yeah, but I also don't sit in the 90 or 100-degree sun, blaring sun for 3 to 5 hours. I'll pulse it out, or I'll shift around, or I'll get under a tree for a little bit. But yeah, the fitness guide should come out tomorrow. Um, Everyone's saying, "Good job, Bobby." It's really good to have someone in the feed that is on a, uh, like, fitness thing, like a journey, should we say, and the person is doing great things. I would caution that any type of accelerated decrease in weight should be a little bit of an alarming thing. So you always want to, like, when you're looking at losing weight, or even a bulk, for example, an intentional bulk or an intentional weight loss, you want to be looking at the number 1 to 1.5 usually, and that means the amount of pounds up or down. So anything in excess of 1 or 1.5 to me would alarm a little bit. When I work with clients and I'm like, we're looking for 1 or 1.5, like no more. If you start telling me you're like, I'm dropping 5 pounds in a week, something is not right. So Bobby the Buyer, OMAD, which is 1 meal a day, OMAD, OMAD. I was going to do this week, 1 meal a day, 4 to 8 p.m. But then I break and I eat carbs the weekend and I gain it all back. Exactly. OMAD works for certain people, right? Works for a lot thinner people that are doing OMAD. A lot of people that do OMAD really enjoy the benefits of fasting, because almost always they're much skinnier people already within their, well, I hate saying this word, but they're in their normal BMI, but BMI is kind of bullshit anyway. But they're in a normal kind of state. They look normal. They're entrepreneurs or musicians or something like that. Like OMAD is very popular in those cultures, or in those genres. So I wouldn't suggest OMAD if you are a physically fit person, personally. I think you run the risk of catabolic outcomes, meaning that your body, to get fuel, is going to start eating your muscles, and that's not good. Bobby the Buyer, thanks for the info. Hey, you're welcome. Ryan Rage, any advice for someone who has diastasis, had a belly button hernia, and now I have diastasis? Ab workouts freak me out now. Yeah, so they have certain belts for that kind of stuff. So take a look at those certain belts. They cinch you up in a certain way to where the diastasis is, obviously you have higher increases of things like hernias, belly button hernias, when you do very, very hard 1 to 3 max lifts and stuff like that, deadlifts, sumo deadlifts. That can happen with improper bracing for bench press. They can happen in a lot of different ways, but those are, you kind of want to stay away from those kind of things, or have a really proper belt on when you do those things. I mean, strength is one of those things. I go through strength protocols every cycle. And so last cycle was a good strength protocol and it was great. And I put on some good size and that was cool. But now I am kind of cleaning up my protocol a little bit. I kind of stay away from like huge lifts, just because of the same thing. Like I don't want a belly button hernia or any kind of hernia. So I also make sure that when I'm doing lifts that are critical, that I focus on A, having a belt on, but B, like if I don't have a belt on, I'm pressing outwards as opposed to forward, backwards, my body. Bobby the Buyer, I was going to do resale videos, but switch to mainly weight loss, but now going to do resale and weight loss videos this year. Good. That's kind of like what I'm doing too. You're welcome, by the way, for the information. Yeah, they do make belts for that kind of stuff, if I'm not mistaken. But even if they don't make belts, I know they do. But just get a really good 13 or 16 millimeter lever belt, and you can cinch that thing down pretty quick. You feel like you're in the Victorian era where this thing like goes like this, and then you can do pretty good lifts. But even in that belt situation, you never want to press this way or that way, right? You want to press kind of like this. You want to fill all parts of the belt equally with your core when you're bracing properly. Any kind of question? Any more questions? I can go through. Man, it's so nuts. I wanted to do 30 minutes, and it's like here we are at the 45-minute mark, and it's really easy for me to talk about fitness and help people out because it's kind of like what I do in everyday life, kind of thing. Bobby the Buyer, what's your take on no days off? Wait, what? NDO, no day. Oh, NDO, like no days off. Okay. What's my take on no days off? Okay, so it depends on what you're thinking. If you're thinking on a strength training kind of protocol, like every day in the gym, 7 days a week kind of stuff, I don't like it. What's my take on it? So I appreciate you asking me about it. I do 4 days a week, and that's coming from experience in my 30s doing 6 days a week and then 5 days a week. And then I came to realize that I have the best outcomes, physique, lifestyle, balance in life with 4 days a week. Now, I'm not telling everyone to do it, but I'm telling everyone to like at least look into it because life is complex, right? Life is not just about the gym. At least my life's not, and I don't think anybody's should be that way. I think life is about interpersonal communication skills, pro-social behaviors, plenty of people around you that you can hang out with, a loved one, that you focus your love on, kids if you got kids, pets if you have pets, Life is complex, and I don't preach staying in the gym a whole lot. It can get to be an addiction, although it's not the worst addiction to have, if you think about it. But to answer your question, no days off, I don't do it. Now what I do kind of preach is no days off of like movement or cardio, right? So today I actually did an AR day. And an AR day is active recovery. I don't do a whole lot of AR days, and I need to put more in my arsenal. But usually, I'll do cardio 7 days a week. And people are like, "Holy crap, that's a lot!" But it really isn't, because the cardio that I do is a lot of fun. Like I like enjoy the cardio. It takes me away to a really nice place where my thoughts are nice and flowing. I'm with a lot of friends usually. Sometimes I just do it by myself, but I'll either mountain bike or I'll do frisbee in a park with some friends, or I'll do pickleball with my girlfriend and her friends. Um, so that's part of my NDO, but I'm trying to incorporate more AR days this year. And those are days where, like today, was an AR day, and I walked backwards for 15 to 20 minutes of my walking my dog around the neighborhood kind of thing. I walked backwards the entire time. That's AR, active recovery, to recover my knees. And also, while I was walking my dog and I was walking forward, for example, I was doing arm swings like this, and I was doing the ones where you go up and down. I was doing all that. So I was making sure that it's an AR day in the sense that we're really preserving ROM, range of motion, and we're preserving important joints such as the shoulder joint. So that's the reason why I was swinging around a whole bunch. And we're preserving ankle mobility, walking backwards, knee flexion, walking backwards. So it's good to have an AR day. I plan, if everything goes right, I should have an AR day once a week or maybe twice a week. So Bobby the Buyer says, 4 days hard or same amount you did in 7. So here's the thing about 7 days a week in the gym, or 6 days. That's 6 times I have to get in my car. That's 6 times I have to park the car, get in the gym. 6 times I have to eat, probably more than normal days. Then I have to come home. Sick. It's just a lot, right? If you take, and it was probably an hour and 15 minutes, 6 times a week in the gym. And I had good results, right? I just have better results when it's way more intentional, and you take this like 6 and you put it down to 4. Now I have 4 1.5 hour workouts, which include abs, which include calves, they include warm-ups, and random socializing that I do in the gym, and I get out. And that's pretty much it. Like, people in the gym know me, and they're like, dude's easily the best in shape here, better in shape than the trainers there, everything. So you got to ask yourself at that moment, like, I think I'm doing something right. Less is more sometimes. So to answer your question, are they hard days? I mean, they're hard. A lot of people do my workouts with me, and they're like, it's pretty hard to go at your tempo, but you keep doing it, and then you realize it's not hard, right? So I've lived this for many years now. I've been doing the 4 workouts a week thing for probably 6, maybe 5, 6 years, and it just serves me better. And if I can get it to 3 with the same exact, outcomes, I'd probably take it. But 4 is great. Being a content creator, 4 is amazing. And yeah, so I like it. What do we got here? More questions. Let's get like 5 more questions in here. And do me a favor, if you're watching this and maybe you got a nugget of information, something maybe to go down the rabbit hole a little bit more after the show with, then just hit the like button. And if you don't want to ask a question, that's great. I'm not going to force people to ask me questions, but if you could just hit the like button, that takes like 0.1 of a calorie to just hit the like button. It really does. So I like it a lot. For people that need help on that 4 times a week, I'll break it down for you. I do 3 days. I talk about it in the new guide too, right? There's a workout plan in the new guide. So it's a 3 days on, 1 day off, 1 day on, 2 days off. So we break that down to like a week. Today is Monday. So this is my first workout of the week, chest and back. And then tomorrow's legs. Wednesday is going to be shoulders and arms. Okay. Thursday off completely, but I'll still do cardio all these days. The cardio is so fun. I love it. Thursday is going to be off. And then Friday is going to be a full body, higher rep, much more concentrating type of reps. It's going to be also accessory type movements. Whereas today I did a lot of like bench pressing and some hammer incline kind of machines and stuff. On Friday, since it's full body, people might be like, well, what's your chest going to look like? Like, what's your back routine going to look like? Well, I'll be doing, some flies, maybe some pec deck flies. Maybe I'll be doing some decline cable, things like that. All the things that don't build a radically large chest, but they will work on tiny things like the little crevice right here or the width of the chest, right? But they're not anything where I have to focus high amounts on. I just want to make sure I get the concentration right, I get the form right, and it's not going to be an absurd amount of weight, but higher reps, right? Whereas today was reps of like 3x8s, a little bit lower on the lower side. Friday is going to be probably 3x12s and things like that. And then, yeah, then I take the weekend off. Then I take Saturday, Sunday off, which is great because I don't want to do anything like that on the weekends. Even though the gym is super packed on the weekends, I might have to go in here and there to just promote myself. But when you're at the level that I put myself at, promoting just comes naturally. It's just one of those things. I'm promoting myself every day when I walk around town. So I don't look at it like I have to show up at this thing, to promote myself. I'm promoting myself all the time, like 24/7. Bobby the Buyer, Dana White did an 86-hour fast. Wow. Is this best to do beginning fasting or do 20? Look, when you're looking at fasting, you have to look at what the end result is. I think people do fasting to cleanse the body and to get a reset. Okay. If you're doing fasting to get a rapid loss, a rapid amount of weight lost, I wouldn't do it. I just wouldn't do it. If you're doing it for the cleansing benefits and third eye chakra, this and that, and want to think clear, that's great. But on those 3 days, probably, or 4 days, whatever you decide to do, you probably shouldn't do many extra activities, definitely no big lifts or anything like that. Nothing that would compromise your body in any way. So great that Dana White did it. Dana White also has been told by his health professionals that he would die soon if he didn't change his entire life. So that was publicly in the airwaves a year ago, and he's doing everything now. He's doing green juices. He's doing all kinds of crazy stuff because at the end of the day, life is short. And like I said in the beginning of this episode, we get in our way pretty quickly. And so just because we hail this guy as like the top of the UFC, for example, he's not immortal and he's not immune to all the things that probably come with his position, which is alcohol, parties, girls, nightlife, not sleeping great hours a day, or not sleeping incredibly every single night. And yeah, that's going to do a toll on your life, not to mention hard drugs. Sorry, but if you were to sit there and go, Dana White doesn't do any of that, I'd be like, yeah, right. Maybe not now, but he did it for quite a while. If you're in the limelight, you have that much power, you're probably going to fall into that. And at the end of the day, Dana White has to figure out, do I want to, live long or not, and his doctor was like, look, you keep doing this, you're not going to live at all. That's just what it is. So his doctor did tell him that a year ago, and he's doing a lot of different things. Same with this guy named Cali Muscle, for example. If you watch him on YouTube, these are all people that were, they've done big things in their lives, but at the end of the day, they're realizing, life is short and life is not forgiving. You're not an X-Men, and you just got to pursue natural means of getting happiness as opposed to external means. And I think you'll be okay. Bobby the Buyer says, less workouts for sure. Got it. Yeah, Bobby the Buyer, I'll tell you right now, work on your mobility, walk on more walking. That should be your cardio every day, more walking, swinging your arms around, all that kind of stuff. Get addicted to it. See your steps and everything like that. Get addicted to steps when you can actually make it onto a bike without pain. Get a big seat, so your butt doesn't hurt. But get on a bike, right? That way you're moving your joints around like this, but you're covering more distance. You're actually building a skill because riding a bike is a skill. And then just get addicted to that. Watch, try to be in a bad mood and ride your bike. It's like impossible. It's super impossible. It's kind of like the same thing. Like try to not have a smile when you're on a jet ski. It's like literally impossible. It's a Tosh joke, but when you're on a jet ski, try not to smile. Impossible. So when you're on a bike and you're biking around and you're seeing a bunch of great things and you're sitting there. I don't know. Maybe it's just my brain that does this. Maybe it's from all the nutrition and the good sleep and whatever the hell, and the workouts and whatever. But my mind's just, I don't, it's just on. It's crisp. I would say that I don't think it's supposed to be that way at 45 years old. But I wouldn't know any better. Because I picked everything strategically over the years because I never wanted to really age normal, right? So I was like, how can I do this? Not age normally, still have fun, plenty of vibrancy. Um, you know, for me, just being a content creator and being on the public eye, for example, my counselor, my therapist told me like that's going to be the greatest, either this or that in your life. It's going to be either the greatest thing in your life or it's going to be the biggest downfall in your life. And she's kind of spot on. But I have thick skin. Another thing that comes with being a content creator and being in shape and doing all mostly the right decisions is that when someone comes and attacks you, I literally don't care. You know, um, I don't get many bad comments, but I will give you kind of some context as to like the social media, the advent of social or the rise of social media and the rise of commenting and has just, I don't know. I think it really highlighted a lot of bad and sour people out there, and it gives them an avenue to like, oh, like no way, you're on roids. They'll say all kinds of crazy stuff. My Facebook reels for Bonafide Hustler, I'll tell people what I found in the thrift store, and I'll be like, this is crazy. Look at this deal, blah blah blah. I put it on eBay and I made money. Right? Inspiring people. Like, hey, everyone's got a side hustle these days. Money's hard to find. It's everything's inflated. I'm just making a video to show you how I do it. And it's not like I'm doing it because I just want to sell you guides. Like I'm still doing this to this day. I literally thrifted today a globe. Like I'm thrifting still. I could just not thrift. I don't really need to, but I like it. It's a lot of fun. It feels like a loophole. So, but even with that, right, with good sharing, content creation, concise reel, 22 seconds or less, I mean, the comments on one of my most viral reels, 350K, for example, on a reel, all negative comments, all negative. And Thrifty Z got in there and she's like typing in, like, oh my God, these people are tearing you to pieces. And I'm sitting there like, I don't care. Like, I don't care. And I'm like, why are you even in there defending me? Like, get out of there, please. Like, these people are the most sour people ever. You got to get out. And I think that social media has given a rise to those kind of people. It shows you how many sour and skeptical and kind of broken people. How many people are out there that are broken? There are a lot. I would say out of those 350K views and the comments that ensued with that amount of people that have seen the reel, I would say comfortably there were 10% of the people who were in there were like, this is great. It's a great way to make money. I do it. This dude's reels are spot on. He's got a great YouTube channel. He's shared tons of free videos how to do it. Why dog this dude? 10% of the people, 10. It's not many. It's just like, what? Anyway, so it just goes to show you um, that, yeah, life is complex and there are a lot of bad people out there, but you got to have thick skin, you got to have thick skin. You got to act on faith. You got to do good things and you got to get around the right people. You get around the right people, you get thick skin. You'll be fine. Hello, Holland Hobbies. Good to see you. What's up, Snow Woman? What's that necklace you're wearing? So this is a necklace that I'm actually affiliated with. I actually talk about this in the new guide too. But this is a Komuso shift, Komuso. In fact, I will actually put this in the chat so you can look it up later. Necklace and the code. Of course, I've been working with Komuso for 3 years now. Okay. Not many people know this about me, but I've been working with Komuso, the brand, for 3 years. I have a pretty popular video on the Bodim channel regarding the shift necklace. That video has done very well in an affiliate sense. It's actually made me some money, but I'm sitting here. You can look at all of my previous video. Look at my Instagram on Bodim, for example. And you tell me in the past 2 or 3 years, how many times you see this necklace or the gold variant, which I had before this necklace. I still have the gold one in my other room, but I wear the silver one now. I wear it in almost every shot. I'm not wearing it because I'm sitting there promoting it. I'm wearing it because I use it. Now, what is this necklace? This is called the Shift. It is a breathing device. And it actually, you inhale through your nose. And then you inhale just a little bit more. You try to just squeeze it all and then you exhale through the shift necklace until it's all out. You do that for 5 rounds or 5 times, usually 5 rounds. I'll do this when I'm driving my car all the time too. But it just promotes this feeling of calmness and no anxiety. Not that I have anxiety, but no anxiety. Very good for hand to mouth, like quitting things like smoking or vaping. Very good for that. Use my code BODDAM. If you get on Camuso and you're like, oh, I want one of those, cool. Use BODDAM. Go for it. But this thing right here is an amazing breathing tool. And it's specially crafted. The diameter and the length of this thing is specially crafted to get you about a 6 to 8 second exhale, and it stimulates the vagus nerve, promotes calmness, reduction in anxiety, all that kind of stuff. So that's what this thing is. I use it all the time. Good to see you, Holland Hobbies. Thank you. Good. He's saying good info. A couple more questions, and I'm going to go, make my dinner and check the antique booth and all that kind of stuff. Talk to my parents. I check in with my parents every single evening too, so that's kind of nice. Um, Bobby the Buyer says, "Thanks for the info. Going to hit some weights. Keep up the grind. Been watching you keep hustling. Thanks. I appreciate everyone coming here for this kind of hangout. If you have any more questions, just stay tuned for the next hangout. Even if it's a thrifting and reselling one, just ask me the fitness questions. I really don't care. But I'm just here to help, and it's gonna be a good year. So anybody that believes it's gonna be a good year probably will be for you. But I believe it's gonna be a great year. I'm gonna be doing a lot more lives, a lot more stuff on social, and gonna be developing some really amazing workout programs that I'm gonna bring to the general public. So if you're interested and you want to pick my brain about some things, then check it out. At the end of the day, um, you do deserve it. I'll tell you right now, it does take a lot of work. Whatever you're looking for, whether it's be muscle building or weight gain or weight loss or whatever you're looking for. Obviously, the new guide's gonna be weight loss based, but man, this thing's more of a lifestyle guide than a weight loss guide, to be honest with you. Well, that's why it's called the Bonafide Lifestyle. So that comes out tomorrow. Please pick it up if you want. It's gonna be extremely cheap, just because, and I built it for the reselling audience. I really did, and it's in the first 10 pages of the guide. I talk about how resellers in the past, when I've met them in real life, because you got to understand that the channel's been on YouTube for 10 to 12 years now, right? The Bonafide Hustler channel. And I've had a lot of people in the hot seat riding along with me. I've done a lot of meetups. I've done a lot of stuff, and almost all the time, whether I captured it on camera or a lot of times it was off camera, but a lot of people would ask me a lot of fitness questions. And so, resellers are great people and they all want to do well. Obviously, when they're tuning into my channel, they want to do financially better. So they're looking for things to flip and they want to, it's a great loophole. And they find my channel. And so they go, yeah, and they go down the years with me and we have fun. But at the end of the day, if you look at my videos and you look for overweight, overweight or overly muscular bona fide hustler, I don't think you're going to find it. I've been able to control my weight perfectly, through all that and stayed active and everything, and call it a strength or whatever you want. But at the end of the day, it's just something I value very much. And I got a lot of expertise in it. And so this year is one of those years where I'm going to see a lot more content about that kind of stuff. There were times in the past where, I was not scared by any means, but I was like, just should I bring this to the mainstream to my audience? And this is one of the reasons I created the Boddam channel. But that channel is mostly seen by fitness enthusiasts, and a lot of people that are in the reselling audience do need help. They do. I've met them in real life, and a lot of people are just, they're in pain, they're overweight, they want to do better. Sometimes when they meet me in real life, they are a little like, oh man, it's a little much, because you're like definitely way big in the real life and stuff. And it can get kind of daunting. One of the things that I have to work on, I've been working on it for a year or two, and I do get approached a lot, but there are some, I don't know what it is, but sometimes I get around people and they're just not standoffish, but I don't know how to explain it, but I want to reduce that on their side. So that's kind of an art. I have to figure out how to do that, how to take the edge off, because there's a lot to learn. People get around me and they're like, there's a lot to learn. So getting the edge off is going to be definitely it's a skill I have to work on. because I mean, even just yesterday, people like just random places are like, "You look like a movie star. Like you come in here and you just look like a movie star. Like what do you do?" You know? And I'm like, man, like that's cool. But if everyone's thinking that, or a lot of people are thinking that, for example, and they don't say anything about it, then they're just kind of standoffish. They're like, let's just let this long haired dude go by and whatever. I want that person to stop and feel comfortable and ask me a question. Like that's something I want. And I have to work on doing that. But it is kind of cool to be big. And a lot of times when I thrift, I'll thrift in like this right here, you know? So when I go through like tight aisles and stuff, it's kind of a good thing to be big or at a garage sale. You don't ever see people stealing things from my stuff or taking things out of my cart at a thrift store. And when I go down an aisle and someone's all like wedged in the aisle with their cart and I come down, like people will take their cart and they'll move it to the side and they'll just let me pass by. They'll be like, Jesus, you know? But I'm a nice guy, you know, but so there are some benefits to being kind of big and like in shape, I guess. It's just that it's not that the world moves away from you. It's that people there's a lot of respect, I should say that, right? Um, and I think it's fun. It's fun being in that position because I could have easily been in the other position too, which is just I guess if I didn't have the right kind of parenting and brought and access to let's say bicycles or maybe my parents put more video games in my face when I was younger, I don't know if I would have ended up being like this. My parents, when I was in maybe fifth or sixth grade, they bought me a Nintendo. My grades were good. So, like, we'll buy you a Nintendo if your grades are good. And once they bought me the Nintendo, I stopped going outside, riding my bikes, playing outside with people and shooting Nerf guns, whatever we are doing, setting things on fire. I stopped doing a lot of that. And then I got all pasty white and unhealthy. And my parents were like, okay. And then my grades went south too. Really bizarre. My parents like, the hell with this Nintendo. Now, obviously, at that time, I didn't know we were dealing with such a pivotal video game thing. I should have kept all the games from back then, right? But they saw it early, my parents, and thank God for good parents. But they were always the kind of parents that were bringing me to Whole Foods and trying to put good food on always preparing meals every night. And I realized that, had I not had that, for example, I'd have to learn all of that on my own. So I learned a lot of those things and a lot of those parenting things. I look back and I'm like, that was good, that they yanked the Nintendo. That was good that they taught me how to fix a bike, for example. My dad sat me down for hours and taught me the inner workings of how to replace a tire and a tube and how to put a new chain on. Like, I'm glad my dad showed me those kind of things. I had a really big affinity for spending time outside. So to this day, right now, I try to make a lot of time to be outside. In fact, I feel most uncomfortable when I'm indoors, to be honest with you. So, yeah, so that automatically means I'm going to be moving more. I'm in the sun more, which is just altogether healthy. So, if all this stuff doesn't make any sense, cool. As we see more bona fide lives and stuff like that, I'll help you guys out. But if it starts to make sense and it starts to be like, oh, cool, like I'm interested. Look into that new guide. I hate pushing. That's not that I hate pushing guides. I'm worth it, but like, look into the guide, and I think it'll help you out. It'll paint a big picture, and you're gonna be like, "Whoa, it's a lot," you know. But I meant it to be that way, so that way you guys can really understand like what it takes. So that should come out tomorrow. Probably put the finishing touches tonight, and I'll see you on the next live stream. Thank you so much for tuning in, and yeah, I'll see you on the next one. All right, take it easy. Goodbye.